Grigori Rasputin was one of the most mysterious and controversial figures in Russian history, famous for his unusual influence over the last imperial family, the Romanovs. Born in 1869 in a small village called Pokrovskoye in Siberia, Rasputin grew up as a peasant with no formal education. Early in his life, he gained a reputation as someone with mystical powers, and he became widely known as a healer, a holy man, and sometimes as a mystic. As a young man, Rasputin left his village and traveled extensively throughout Russia, visiting monasteries, churches, and religious leaders. During these travels, he learned about religious mysticism, developed an intense personal charisma, and began to build a following of people who believed he had supernatural powers. Although he was never formally trained as a priest or monk, Rasputin presented himself as a deeply spiritual figure, known especially for his intense stare, his hypnotic personality, and his ability to make people believe in his powers. Around 1905, Rasputin's reputation as a healer and spiritual advisor led him to the city of St. Petersburg, the capital of Russia at that time. Here, through his extraordinary charisma and reputation for spiritual insight, he quickly captured the attention of high-ranking Russian nobility. Many believed Rasputin possessed the ability to heal diseases and even predict the future, which led to his introduction to the Russian imperial family. Tsar Nicholas II and his wife Alexandra had a son named Alexei, who suffered from hemophilia, a serious blood disorder that caused intense pain and life-threatening bleeding. The royal family was desperate to find someone who could help their son, as doctors were largely ineffective in treating him. In 1908, Rasputin was summoned to the palace, where, remarkably, his presence and prayers seemed to ease Alexei's pain and stop his bleeding. Whether by coincidence, hypnosis, or genuine healing ability, the Tsarina Alexandra became convinced that Rasputin was sent by God to protect and heal their son. Because of this deep belief, Rasputin gained tremendous power and influence within the palace. Over the next several years, Rasputin became a trusted advisor to Tsarina Alexandra. She increasingly relied on his spiritual guidance and advice, especially when Tsar Nicholas II was away from the capital leading Russian forces during World War I. Rasputin began to have significant political influence, advising Alexandra on government appointments, military decisions, and even policy matters. Many powerful nobles grew alarmed by Rasputin's influence, believing he was corrupt, manipulative, and immoral. Rumors spread throughout Russia that Rasputin lived a life of decadence and excess, engaging in scandalous behavior with women, drinking heavily, and exploiting his privileged position. Whether true or exaggerated, these rumors severely damaged the imperial family's public image. As Russia suffered severe setbacks during World War I, the population grew increasingly discontented. Many blamed Rasputin for the nation's problems, believing he was responsible for poor governmental decisions due to his undue influence over the Tsarina. Russian nobles, officials, and military leaders became convinced that Rasputin posed a serious threat to Russia's stability and the survival of the monarchy itself. In December 1916, a group of Russian nobles, led by Prince Felix Yusupov, decided to eliminate Rasputin, believing that his removal would restore stability to Russia. The assassination plot became legendary, and the circumstances surrounding Rasputin's death remain mysterious and controversial. According to popular accounts, Rasputin was invited to Yusupov's palace under false pretenses, where he was poisoned with cakes and wine laced with cyanide. Surprisingly, the poison seemed to have little effect, leading conspirators to panic. They shot Rasputin multiple times, believing they had killed him. Yet, to their shock, Rasputin reportedly regained consciousness, staggered out into the courtyard, and attempted to flee. The conspirators pursued him, shooting him again before finally throwing his body into the frozen Neva River. Days later, Rasputin's body was discovered, and an autopsy revealed that he had survived poisoning and multiple gunshots, ultimately dying by drowning or freezing in the icy river. Rasputin's apparent resilience fueled further myths about his supposed supernatural powers, even in death. Despite, or perhaps because of, his dramatic assassination, Rasputin's legend grew even stronger, becoming a symbol of the corruption, chaos, and impending collapse of Imperial Russia. Rasputin's death, however, did not save the Russian monarchy. Within months in early 1917, Russia experienced massive unrest, leading to the February Revolution. Tsar Nicholas II was forced to abdicate the throne, ending centuries of imperial rule. Later that year, the Bolsheviks seized power, dramatically reshaping Russian history and establishing the Soviet Union. Even today, Rasputin's legacy continues to captivate historians, scholars, and the general public alike. He remains one of history's most fascinating figures, representing both the extraordinary influence a single individual can have over powerful leaders, as well as the dangers posed by unchecked political influence. Rasputin, the humble peasant from Siberia, became a symbol of mystery, intrigue, and controversy, an enduring legend that reminds us of the complex relationship between power, belief, and human vulnerability.